Hey, what's going on? So, listen, I've been making music for over 10 years and I've learned a lot of things along the way that helped me improve my music. And it's been like trial and error all the way. And that's why I have so much to share on this channel that I've learned through the way, in hope that these things can actually help you and help you become a better music producer. So, in this video today, I've chosen some 3 things that I want to share with you that I have actually improved. And these things made my music improve like drastically and made me a much better producer, so that I can give my audience better music and so that I can become a better musician in turn. And this video is sponsored by DistroKid, but we're going to talk about more of them later in the video. So the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I did in the beginning and I didn't understand what was going on, and I'm sure some of you guys do that as well. It's not composing and mixing your music loud. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying blast your speakers, I'm not saying blast your ears, because obviously that'll damage your ears, but I'm trying to say that what you want to do when you're composing and when you're mixing your music is you want to turn up the volume on your audio interface or on your headphones as loud as you can in a comfortable way without having it like all the way to the max loud. Like for me personally, on my audio interface, I like to turn it up until maybe like close to 50% while I'm using my speakers here. And my speakers, my studio monitors, my Yamaha HS7s are not even turned up at the back all the way past 50% of the output that they give me, but I'm using like around maybe 30% or 40% of the output that they give me. So I turn up my level on my speakers and on my audio interface so that I can have a loud output. In turn, this will help me not to go in the reds in the box like in my DAW. Like if you look at what's happening with this project that I have pulled up right here, is you can see that the meter is going onto reds. If I play it out loud, you can hear that it sounds okay, it sounds fine, but there's a reason why it's going into the reds. It's because everything is loud and everything is loud like that. So when you're working on your music and your speakers or even your headphones are turned down, or they might not even be loud enough, you will in turn like make everything louder and turn up all the faders to compensate for that volume that you don't have, and then you start to just add too much distortion. The music is just not gonna sound great. It doesn't sound good. So what you want to do is make sure that you have a really good set of speakers that can be loud, or some loud headphones if you want to go the budget route. That's why I also have headphones if I'm not using speakers. These are loud, they're like super loud, and I turn them as loud as comfortably possible, but also keeping in mind of ear fatigue, so I don't fatigue my ears and damage my hearing. Because come on, if you can't hear and you damage your ears, you cannot make music anymore. So that's what I normally do. So in turn, what this will do for me is that it will allow me to turn down my levels in my DAW and gain stage all my levels nicely, and so that everything is balanced out. So now when I come to the mixing stage, I can turn down my faders just like that. I can start turning things down rather than lifting all my volumes up. But what I can do to compensate for all that volume loss that I'm turning down is I can just raise the volume on my audio interface and the output of my speakers be loud in turn. So that's why you need to invest in a good pair of speakers or a good pair of headphones that are nice and loud. And I do like my Bear Dynamics. They are super loud and they have a lot of bass and they have a lot of clarity and they're really clear. But I'm sure there's a lot of other brands and other headphone types that are out there that are also super loud just as well as these are. It just depends with which ones you like. But I'm just saying that choose your gear wisely and make sure that you have some loud output that's coming out from your DAW. It will help your music drastically, especially when you're composing and when you're mixing. So that's the first tip that I learned that really improved my music and my mixing to become, to sound really pro. So I hope that can help you. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is sound design. And don't get me wrong, there's 2 ways you can go about sound design. Sound design is where you can design the sound from scratch on your own, and this takes a lot of time to study and to learn, and there's different ways you can do that. But that's not the kind of sound design that I'm talking about. I'm talking about sound design from a place where, if you're a beginner, where you have, let's say, presets, because nowadays we have plugins that have presets, and even stock plugins come with like a lot of presets and a lot of sounds that are stock in there. there. So what a lot of beginner producers do, and something that I used to do back in the day, is I used to load up a preset, and then if I don't like that preset or it doesn't sound good to me, I just move on to the next. Or if I start to find out that, you know, I don't like the sounds that I'm picking from that plugin, then I want to now start looking for other plugins that will give me, you know, just good sounds out of the box. But in turn, when I'm using these presets, when I'm choosing these presets, I'm not also just giving them a chance for me to take it as a starting point and then start to design my sound from that starting point. So look at presets as a starting point, where if you have a sound, let's say you have a patch of a lead, or maybe a piano, or maybe you have a bass sound. Most of these plugins, they have a lot of knobs and they have a lot of stuff that's on there that you can tweak to change and customize the sound, to change it to sound different. Like, I promise you, there's a lot of big producers that I noticed that they use stock plugins, but when you listen to the sounds that they have made, that have charted on like the top 10s and top 20 charts in the whole world, they've used stock plugins. But what they did is that they used stock presets, but then they designed the sounds to improve them and change them to their liking. So you can play around with cut-offs, you can add glides, you can even add effects like phasers and delays and reverb. That is actually designing the sounds. So whatever you do get in a preset, don't just do away with it and just be like, you know what, it doesn't sound good, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is and move on to the next. But design your sound so that you have unique sounds that are unique to you, that no one else has, because everyone else has presets like from the same plugins that you might have, and that's something that I also realized. So we end up all using the same sounds, but when you tweak that sound, you can only end up with that kind of sound that you have tweaked, that you have put together, that no one else will have. And people will be like, yo, where are you getting these original sounds? And you'll be like, this is a sound that I designed myself. And you can actually save that preset, and you can save those settings so that you can use it again if you want to use it again. And if you notice that people like it, or your audience like that thing, and you want to use it as your trademark sound, that's what you can do with that kind of thing. And a quick pro tip that I want to give you, and what I think can really help new producers, is that you need to release your music. And releasing your music professionally and releasing your music officially is a good thing. You need to have a nice catalog of music. Like, you need to have a catalog of music that is out on all DSPs. That is something that I also just had to get into. Yes, it does take some money to put in and that kind of thing, but I mean, imagine if someone asks you and they be like, yo, you make music, you're a music producer, but where's your music? How can I find it? You don't want to be sending people links to, you know, funny websites and that kind of thing, but you can just tell people, my music is on YouTube, my music is on Spotify, my music is on Apple Music. So I'm telling you about this because this video has a sponsored DistroKid, and I've been using DistroKid for a while, and DistroKid has just launched a new service for music videos called DistroVid. So DistroVid is the easiest way for musicians to get their music videos onto Apple Music, Vivo, and Amazon Music, and Tidal as well, and keep 100% of their earnings. You only need to pay $99 per year, and this is per year so that you can upload and release unlimited music videos and send them to these platforms. That is super amazing. DistroKid members also get included in Vivo, which means that they get the Vivo watermark on YouTube. And this is an amazing thing because this Vivo thing was only for big labels and big artists, but now all independent artists like you and me, we can now be on Vivo and have our music videos have the Vivo watermark. I mean, I'm sure you've seen music videos that have the Vivo watermark and you're like, yo, that's legit. I definitely want to watch that. You can also request a custom release date so that if you have a certain release date, you know, if you want to create some anticipation, and you can also set a custom thumbnail as well so that, you know, your music video is packaged nicely, just like we do with our YouTube videos. You also might want, you know, to pick a certain frame of the music video that will catch people's attention when they see it, with also that Vivo, you know, watermark right there and that kind of thing. Make sure to hit the link down below and use that link to sign up to DistroVid so that you can start distributing your music videos to all these big platforms right now. Okay, so now the final and most important thing that I've learned that I think a lot of people sleep on is that composition is king. A lot of people struggle with coming up with good music because they are not focusing on their composition. This is something that I also had to improve. That's why nowadays I've like stripped down my whole production process to work on my composition. I am hands-on on my keyboard. I am hands-on in the DAW to really make sure that my composition skills are tip-top, because composition is everything. And I see a lot of new producers, and even for me, I used to do that myself, to think that, you know, I'm just gonna make something and then maybe the mixing and mastering will fix it and it's gonna sound even better by mixing and mastering when it's mixed and mastered and that kind of thing. And you know, if I post it and then I say, yo, this is not yet mixed and mastered, so excuse it sounding terrible and that kind of thing. But that's not how to go about music. You want to become good at composition. Composition is king. You need to make sure that you compose your music first to sound good. Here's the truth that I can tell you: a song that is well composed can actually sound good before it even goes to the mixing and mastering stage, than a song that is terribly produced or composed and then it gets to the mixing and mastering stage and is mixed and mastered to the best at the mixing and mastering engineer's ability. A song that is terribly composed does not sound good. If it sounds bad, it sounds bad. If it's composed bad, it's never gonna work from there. You need to make sure that your composition is good. So you need to learn a lot of things about composition. Learn how to make good chords, learn how to make perfect melodies, learn how to keep everything in key, learn how to just come up with ideas, fresh ideas, and how you can work with everything you do depending with your style. I'm not saying you have to play with your hands everything or finger drum everything. You can even draw in notes and that kind of thing, but just be amazing at composition. Make sure you become a pro at that. I promise you, your music will improve 10 times. It improved my music so much when I started focusing on my composition. That's one thing that I just want to tell you. So always focus on your composition and take that seriously. If you want to learn music theory, you can also learn music theory to improve your composition. That's why a lot of people talk about music theory. There are a lot of free videos that you can watch on YouTube about music theory that can teach you how to keep everything in key, how to play certain scales, and all those kinds of things. A lot of people sleep on it, but it helps you become a good composer of music so that you can come up with melodies and chords way more easier than it would take you, because you just want to, and then, you know, you come up with quick chords and quick melodies just like that. What is the one thing that you can share that really improved your music, or something that you're working on right now that you think can actually help newer producers and improve their music right now? Put it down below, and also help the community down below by letting them know what you think they can improve. And also a big shout out to DistroKid for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate them for supporting the channel, and also you for watching this video, and also dropping a like, and also subscribing if you did subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Check out this video that's on screen right now if you want to watch more of my videos, and I'll see you there. I'm X and I'm out. Peace.